Welcome back to my Relationship Abundance mini course. So, hopefully, you have your packet in front of you. If you haven't printed out the workbook, then please pause the video right now and go print that out. I want to suggest that you not make this one bit complicated. Just watch through the video while you're looking through the worksheets. And then, if you're able to take another 10 minutes after this 15 minutes that you put aside to do step one of the process, then awesome. If you don't have an extra 10 minutes, if you just put aside the 15, then carve out 15 minutes tomorrow morning and every morning for the next 30 days to do this process. You can certainly do it at lunch or after work. That's fine. Anytime is a good time to do it, but I love doing this work in the morning when we're fresh. We clean out our mind and get ourselves ready for the day. So, really, the idea is to just get you in a consistent routine of doing the work. So, let's dig in. Turn to page 3 of the packet, which is your relationship thought download worksheet. All right. This worksheet will have you looking at all of your current thoughts about your relationship. You're going to do this by doing what I call a relationship thought download. So this is going to be where you sit down with your pen and paper and you're going to write out all of the thoughts that are in your head about your marriage. You don't need to do it right now. All right. So just watch through this whole video with me. You can come back to it. You can pause here and do the work when you do this for the very first time. So some thoughts that you might have. I put some examples on the worksheet. At the very bottom of the worksheet, there is an example mini thought download. And then I also provided some questions for you to help get your brain going, to help you think of different thoughts. But some thoughts might be, I have to work full time and manage the house. He doesn't know how to communicate. He works hard to take care of us. He never comes home on time. He makes me laugh with his silly jokes. So all of those thoughts, get them out on a piece of paper, no judgments. All right. You can actually shred this paper when you're done with it if that makes you feel better. It's just thoughts and sentences in our brain, and get them all out, especially the worst ones, the ones that cause you the most pain. Those are some of the more important ones to get out. This exercise alone just helps you start to become aware of what you're thinking, sort of like cleaning out that messy closet. You take it all out, you look at it all, and there's going to be some things there that you didn't even know were in there. Then you're going to go to step 2 of the process, which is your thought awareness worksheet. It's the 4th sheet in the packet. It has some directions on there for you to guide you through. But what you're going to do is you're going to go back to page 3, your thought download, and you're going to search through all the sentences to see if there's any facts in there. If you have any facts, you're going to X them out. All right. It's quite likely that there's not many facts in your thought download. That's why it's called a thought download. Remembering that facts, that circumstances are facts, okay? They are true. They have no drama. They have no emotion. There's no adjectives or subjective words in a factual sentence, in the circumstance. So a circumstance is a fact. All right. So let me use one of the examples that I had in the thought download, which is my husband never comes home on time. All right. That in of itself might seem like a fact like to you, but it's not actually a fact. A fact might, if you want to get factual about your husband coming home, take the day of the week and what time he came home. You might say Monday he came home at 7:05, Tuesday 5:05, Wednesday 6:15. Get some facts, make it factual, no drama. Then when you cross those facts out, what you have left are your thoughts about your relationship. So now you're going to look at whatever is left and you're going to decide which ones are positive thoughts and which ones are negative thoughts. All right. So a positive sentence is going to bring about a good or a positive feeling or emotion. We're not naming emotions in this worksheet. You're just going to decide if it makes you feel good or bad, open and productive, or negative emotion would make you feel closed in, unproductive. You are going to circle any sentences that bring up a negative emotion for you. And then the sentences that bring up a positive emotion, you're going to put a line through that sentence. And then you're also going to put a line through one of the sentences that you circled, one of your negative emotions. So you're basically balancing them out. And then what you're going to have left is either an abundance of positive sentences or an abundance of negative sentence. I also want to throw in here that the first couple times you do a thought download, you might not have a lot of thoughts on it, but eventually you should be able to fill up that whole page as you practice this and loosen up your brain a little bit. I'm going to guess that most of you have a net negative thought download. That's why you would be coming to take this relationship abundance mini course. You're having more negative thoughts, more scarcity thoughts about your marriage. But it's possible you have more positive thoughts in your relationship thought download. That's awesome. Those two steps that we just went through, those are your daily practice. So that's what I want to suggest that you incorporate into your daily routine, into your morning practice of cleaning out your mind and starting your day off fresh. You will also be able to see, if you do this on a daily basis and you save them, you're going to see a big difference in your thought downloads in just a 30-day time span. So the third step of the process is super fun. This is the one where you create your new love list. And that's what this worksheet looks like. You have 2 columns. You're going to take any of your net negative thoughts that you have left, and you're going to put them on the left side of the worksheet. If you have a net positive thought download, go ahead and put those extra positive thoughts on the right side of your worksheet. All right. When we're unhappy in our love relationship, we are often thinking negative thoughts and sending our brains to look for more negative thoughts. So what this exercise does is it starts to short circuit that natural sequence. So for every negative thought that's left in your thought download, you're going to come up and start searching for a positive thought to counterbalance that negative thought. At first, this is going to seem super difficult. Your brain is going to tell you that it's impossible, that you can't think of anything positive. And I'm going to tell you, I came up with this mini course because this was a version, I remembered it was something that I did to start turning my marriage around. One of the first things I did. And I found it very difficult to find positive things to think about my husband. I could come up with a bunch of things, but I didn't want to admit them, and be curious about that too. But I basically had one to start out with, and that was that he married me. And I thought that was an awesome thought to hold on to. But eventually, as I got my brain a little loosened up, I was able to start thinking of more positive thoughts. You are changing the way you've programmed your brain to think. So if you can't think of any positive thoughts, that's okay. Put the list away, put it in a safe place, let it be, and come back to it later. I want to suggest that you take 2, 3 times a day, a couple minutes, 2 to 5 minutes maybe, where you go back to that list, reread any of the positive sentences that you've put on your love list. Don't reread the negative ones. They can actually just get blacked out on that. And then during that time, add another one and add another positive thought to that list. Be curious about how your brain doesn't want to admit positive characteristics about your spouse. It's okay, write them down. So if you have the thought, he has beautiful eyes, but right now that thought just doesn't make you feel good. You feel like it's a lie. I mean, you know it's true because you've thought it before, but right now you're in it. Just write it down. It's okay. That thought will soften up and it will come back to you. And then as you do thought downloads, and if you have more negative thoughts, you can add them to the negative list and counterbalance them. You can take some of those positive thoughts that you put a line through from your thought download and put them in the positive column. They are all valid thoughts. And even if you don't have a lot of negative thoughts, you can keep adding to your positive thought list just to create even more love, all right? You're creating your new love list. It's amazing. You're going to want to refer to this list often to help remind your brain about all of the things that you love about your husband. I want to encourage you to carry this list around. Maybe take a photo of it, put it in your favorites album so that you can refer to it several times throughout the day, especially right in the morning when you wake up and before you go to bed. I also want I want to encourage you to actually say them out loud, because when you say them out loud and your brain hears you say them, it helps just create those new pathways even quicker. All right. Another awesome thing that you could do is you could download an affirmation app like Think Up. And with those apps, some of them you can think up, you can put in for free, I think it's 3 to 5 affirmations, and you can schedule to get notifications to remind yourself to say those affirmations over and over. Step 4 of the process is the very last worksheet. And this worksheet is to help you find some more positive thoughts. It gets your brain going on a positive thought search. All right. So what it will do is it's going to help you find those thoughts by learning how to ask positive questions about your husband. So during your daily work, you're going to take time to answer some of the questions that I offered for you. You can create some of your own. I'd love to hear some of your questions as well. And when you answer these questions, you're going to come up with some positive thoughts. You're sending your brain on a daily search for love. All right. And some of those questions might be, what do I love most about my spouse? What's attractive about them? What's one thing that attracted me to them when we first started dating, before we got married? And then what I'm going to ask you to do is start becoming aware of your negative thoughts on the fly. So every time you start catching yourself thinking a negative thought about your loved one, I want you to short circuit your brain to ask it to answer one of the following questions, like one of those in the list, or what's something positive I can say right now about my husband, or what would love say? So let's say you're at the dinner table, he's talking with his mouth full, and you have this thought that I wish he wouldn't do this. That is so annoying. Catch that thought and change it. You can even open up your phone. Hopefully, you have a no phone rule at the dinner table, but you can picture back to that positive thought list and think a different thought. And those thoughts are going to come to you more quickly as you practice saying those, as you do your affirmations. Our brain will do what we tell it to do. And you're currently in a pattern of asking it, what is wrong with your spouse? With this worksheet and with this work, you're sending it on a different search. So this mini course is all about starting to look at your marriage differently through a whole new set of lenses. It will help you move from that negative thought space into the positive thought space, which helps you learn how to be responsible for how you feel. All right. You are always responsible for how you feel, no matter what anybody else is saying or doing. You can't create how somebody else feels, and they can't create how you feel. So, with this, you're directing your brain to think thoughts that make you feel good. You're not doing this for anybody else, you're doing it for you. When you have these negative thoughts, the pain you're creating is within yourself. Nobody else is feeling your pain. So that's why we want to direct you to a whole different set of thoughts that make you feel so much better. For some people, this course alone is all that it's going to take to turn your relationship around. And for others, it's going to take more time, more deliberate work. But I do guarantee you that if you commit to doing these 4 things for the next 30 days, you're going to start seeing your marriage differently because you're generating new loving thoughts. Let's go through those 4 things again. So first, your relationship thought download. You're going to get all of those thoughts out of your head onto paper. Takes 10 minutes every day. Clean it out. Then the second thing is to find your net negative thoughts and balance them out with some new positive thoughts. That'll take you 5 minutes every day. So 15 minutes. And then start learning how to ask and answer new positive questions about your husband, and start paying attention to when you think a negative thought. Redirect your brain. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm thinking positive thoughts today. And then the 4th step, read your love list several times throughout the day. You get an A+ for saying it out loud so that you can hear yourself actually saying it. If you can commit to loving your partner by becoming aware of negative thoughts when they pop up and then balancing them out with a positive thought, you will be on your way to relationship abundance. I'm telling you that if you do this work, you will start feeling love again because you will be taking full responsibility of where you want to go in your relationship. You are starting to release the tension you're feeling in your marriage, and relationship abundance is yours if you want it. This is just the beginning of obtaining it. I hope you enjoy this course. And if you have any questions, of course, you can contact me, send me an email, and I would love to help you. I'd also like to hear how this is going for you. So as you go along, send me some of your feedback. Send me an email. Let me know what's working for you, what isn't working for you. And if you loved this exercise, which I hope you do, of course, and you feel like it all makes sense logically, but you're finding it difficult to implement the process, then I want to encourage you to come join my AwakenYou coaching program. This is where we dig deep into all of the concepts I teach. And honestly, committing to love is so worth it. So if you're curious about what we do in AwakenYou, then I want to suggest that you schedule a consult call where we'll discuss your relationship struggles, and I'll share how my program teaches you how to overcome your relationship problems and has you bringing love back into your marriage. I'd love to have you join me. You can schedule your session by visiting my website. And until later, have a great time working through this, creating love. And like I said, let me know how it's going. Ciao.